Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a very high level best of 3 from the Korean StarCraft League 29. This was the first KSL that was played on the new patch as well as the new maps, and I think I have the best players that you could have on a new patch on new maps. In the top left, spawning as a red Zerg player, it is Dark. And in the top right, our Terran player, the king of innovation, it is Gumiho. This guy has made more builds in his lifetime than most other Terrans combined when it comes to the massive book of Terran crap that you can throw at your opponent. I think Gumiho is responsible for a decent chunk of the builds that are in there. Very often just kind of one-time builds that don't really that shouldn't really be repeated. Yet Gumiho repeats them because he doesn't care. Opens up here with a CC into a Marine and a very fast factory. So this is already different from what we usually see in this matchup. In the past few months, double Barracks Reaper has been extremely popular. On top of that, very often we've just seen standard Reaper expand into some type of triple CC. This is a factory rush that comes out with the factory much faster than any of these builds, by about 18 seconds than a standard 1 Rex expand, and by about, 2 minutes quicker than the double Reaper opener. So Gumiho trying to go into that quick factory. Second gas coming out here as well, Dark with a cheeky little scout. Now, this map, Equilibrium, is a very solid Zerg map. I am surprised to see this being played in a best of 3. Perhaps Gumiho not quite aware of this little bad boy over here. Rich Vespine Geyser, gold minerals as a potential fourth base. A banger of a base over here that Dark most likely is going to be taking at some point as the Ling makes its way across the map. Starport on the way as well. And it seems to me like this is just going to be a very standard, a 6 or 7 Marine drop with 3 Hellions with it as well. I really thought we were going to see some Cyclones coming out of the king of funky little builds, but nonetheless this is a funky build, just not a funky build with a Cyclone in it. One Hellion is making its way across the map, trying to get some information here, just confirming that there is a third base, really not doing anything else than that. Saying, hey, if there's a third, I want to see it. And does scout the third, and I said, hey, holy hell, why did I not zero this map? There's a gold with a rich Vespine guys here, that's pretty crazy. I made a mistake, guys. I messed up. I done messed up now. Uh-oh. Let's see if these two things are gonna swap. No, instead we have a tech lab coming onto this factory. First 7 Marines are gonna lift into that medevac now, as they're probably gonna be used for some type of overlord denial is what I'd reckon. It's really what I think is going to happen most likely. Behind this, what are we playing? We have a second barracks before the third CC. We have another factory, or another tech lab being constructed on this factory. This Overlord is coming in to scout as a Roach Warren gets plopped down here by Dark, who does have the link speed. I didn't quite expect that, honestly, with such a fast Roach Warren. Also getting the link speed is kind of a wild move. Marines here are taking out their first Overlord. Dark probably should start thinking about perhaps evacuating some of these more forward Overlords. Otherwise could lose another one. Here come the Hellions moving forward. This bad boy not in the best position, as they're trying to get to a safer location. One Hellion goes down, second Hellion in just not that great of a spot right now. Could perhaps get picked up. Overlord being sent back in. I think that might have been a mistake. Dark will be looking at losing that bad boy. 2 more gases on the way. On the natural. That's a lot of gas here coming in clean for Gumiho, who does have a third CC now. That was a little bit late. It was after that second barracks. No E-base are out quite yet. Stim is about to finish up. Can these Hellions? Yes, nice evacuation there, Gumiho. Beautiful play. The E-base are gonna get thrown down right now in that natural. Bit of a supply block here for Gumiho as he throws down 3 more barracks as well at the same time. So far, 0 workers have been killed. He has taken out 10 Lings and 3 Overlords, lost 1 Marine and 1 Hellion. But usually with these types of builds, you're planning on dealing a bit more damage. Follow-up is gonna come quick though. 2 tanks are out already. There's 14 Marines with this. The 2 Hellions will help as well against the Ling counts. I think this build has some serious potential. This is gonna hit like a freaking brick as well. Like actually hit like a brick. It's completely designed to clear this type of base. Nice little siege area here as well. I think that might be used by Gumiho, as this hatchery is just going to die. I don't think there's really two ways about it. It's gonna die and that's it. This tank positioning is beautiful. Doesn't quite want to siege it up yet. Doesn't want to reveal the fact that there are two tanks. Now it's gonna siege them up most likely. Say, hey, it's time for me to start fighting this hatchery. And this hatchery is absolute toast. There we go. What a beautiful setup here. 3 base versus 3 base. Tank count looking healthy. I would love to see some more tank production, because there are roaches out. I think that has been spotted by Gumiho at this point. Scans, sees nothing here. Absolutely nothing. Moves in forward with these 2 tanks. But the roach count is quickly rising. And with a higher roach count, it is scary to be on the map with all of your tanks. It really is quite scary. Mines now being produced. Something I obviously don't quite approve of. There is this tech lab still empty, waiting to be used by anything or anyone. Maybe a second factory is going to be thrown down there. But I want that first factory to go on there, because mines will not be as useful as tanks will be. Map control here being had by Gumiho. Just kind of moving back and forth. Moves his army back and forth between this bottom base that he perhaps wants to deny again. And now trying to find an angle on this top fort. Let's see if he's going to be capable of doing anything. As Dark's now starting to work on these rocks. This is being spotted technically. I don't think this is quite being seen because it doesn't show up on the minimap. You could see these rocks falling though, so that is important. Gumiho's just going to be moving back for a little bit. He's building 4 depots at the same time. Still hasn't been adding in any extra tanks. Nidus network now on the way. Of course, Dark with the Roach Nidus here. 7 minutes into the game. Not so sure if this is going to work though. There are a lot of Marines out. And yes, there's only 2 tanks. But although mines are not brilliant, they might just be good enough. This is not it though. This is not it. No. We don't want this type of send out right now. This is a real bad play. I'm very surprised that Gumiho is trying to go for this. Now we get a big scan forward. Mines helping out quite a bit actually. 2 mines still alive. The other 2 get killed by just single biles there. A single set of biles with the splash taking that out. Tank trying to reposition. Mines. Gonna get taken out here. Big scan forward. There's just a bunch of these Marines out right now. This is just a weird situation all around. We have a pure Marine force versus these Roaches and Ravagers. I'm not quite sure why Gumiho is deciding to fight here with all of his Marines without any tank support at all. That seems like a mistake, as the Nidus network now goes up on the main base. Roaches are available. There, Bile's not quite going to connect. And yeah, now Gumiho in a little bit of trouble. He looks to me like he's freaking dead. Any extra amount of tanks here would have been so freaking helpful. Is simply not the case. Dark trying to move in forward, but the Ravagers being targeted down right now. 2 of them will fall, and these Ravagers planning on moving towards the high ground, it seems like, with the help of the Nidus network. There are no more medevacs with this army, and there's not a single tank here either. Here comes the rest of the drop. 2-2 not quite done yet. That would have been so great. Biles connecting with the Marine Marauder army as well. As I think that Dark has just broken Gumiho over here. Biles raining down from the skies. Tank on the low ground actually assisting quite a bit. Army supplies are getting closer and closer. This fight might actually end in favor of Gumiho. I had not quite expected that. His worker count, yes, is a lot lower than he probably would have liked. But at the same time, he does have 2-2. And he's fighting against a 1-1 army. Like, the only way, literally the only way that Gumiho wins this game is if he moves across the map right now and gets a fight. That is literally the only real solution I should see to this problem. He does not have the worker count. He's starting +3, which is interesting. I'm not sure if it's correct. I just think it's interesting because it might allow him to stay relevant a bit longer with his army in this game. 8 gases on the way right now for Dark. Is on the bottom side. We do have this 4 mine drop. That probably is going to get cleared before it even gets to drop any of these mines. Spore going up in the natural. Roaches desperately trying to move into position in time. 150 supply against 193. Army supplies are a lot closer. This army that Dark is working with isn't really all that. Like, this is too small. Where's the rest of the army? I don't know. Tanks in the back should be capable of assisting as both mines are gonna get taken out. This fight so far not looking brilliant necessarily for Gumiho, but supplies are getting a little bit closer. Mines now starting to drop as well. Let's see, can they deal some damage? We have a split off, more marines being sent forward. Straight into their death, it seems like to me. 128 supply to 165. The gap between the two players remains very similar, but this is a huge drop because there are not enough roaches in position here. Dark now trying to get back home. The fact that his one medevac is quite low is going to help him out, because otherwise I think Gumiho could have moved into the spore a bit more aggressively. That was good damage though. 6-7 worker kills are being inflicted in general. I don't know where. I didn't quite see where these worker kills were happening, but they have happened. Oh, now we have a big bunch of roaches here. Let's take a look at the first person view out of Gumiho. Is he seeing those roaches? No, he just barely missed them. They're so clear on the map often. You see, like, this is so clear, but if you're not looking at them, it doesn't matter how clear they are. So now we're gonna see a big burrow, and Gumiho needs to respond to that. It's gonna lose a chunk of his marines and marauders. These roaches, however, could also be in a little bit of trouble. Yes, it's nice to take out 4 or 5 marines and a marauder and a half. But here, oh my god, these is beautiful splits. Never mind. I was afraid that Dark was going to lose all of his roaches, but he manages to escape and just is going to lose 3 of them at the same time. Massive drop heading in towards the main base. Let's see. Dark, are you ready for it? Snipes one of these medevacs. Second medevac on the way down as well. Half HP left. 125 supply to 189. Dark is so good at defending stuff. Dark is just so ridiculously good at the game. Gumiho now rallying this drop into a bunch of roaches and ravagers, and yeah, as a result is gonna lose a bunch of bio here for no real reason. Up the depots, yep, there we go. Turret definitely helping out in this case. This +3 has now finished up. First 5 infestors are out on the way, and these infestors are gonna spawn with enough energy. The fungal, of course, so this is something we need to keep in mind. This army is moving forward as well. Link will be taken out. Mine is going to get that connection. Get a couple of massive biles on this army, and I think that probably should be it here for Gumiho. Still without a fort base. He's trying to get his +3, but has no tanks behind this at all. I'm really surprised to see the constant production of these mines rather than production of tanks. Now finally we're getting some tanks out. But only 2 tanks have died this game, and there's 0 out right now. Playing against a pure roach army. It is a very, very uncommon way of dealing with the roach, let me tell you that. Now, with all of that being said, let's not forget that Gumiho, technically his eco isn't even that much worse than his opponents, and Dark's eco is really quite bad. He's only on 60 workers. Yes, there's a lot of gas income, but the gas income doesn't make the world go round. That I can tell you. 154 supply right now. In a way, Dark is kind of all in, which sounds silly, but might be correct. Like, I really do believe this to be somewhat correct. Gonna get the lurker then up right now as well. There's these infestors. Here they go. Big chunk of energy already. Like, 56 workers is way too little to play a proper macro game. He's building 3 hatcheries at the same time. I'm not sure why that is happening. It's not like he has the drones to saturate 3 bases in general. 55 workers is legit 2.5 base saturation, don't forget. Well, it's like 3 base saturation without the gas, basically. 3 base saturation with 3 gases total. That's what it is. So there's already these bases mining. I don't think you need 3 hatcheries at the same time, especially if you're struggling a little bit for money. These roaches will fall, but also took out a tank there, as double tank production is now happening. Next 3 roaches are trying to be sent in, but once again will get taken out here by reinforcements most likely. Nice little stim usage as liberators are in position. I just don't really see a way for Dark to necessarily win an upcoming fight. Like, he has so many roaches. He's gonna need to hit some big freaking fungals, and if he can hit some big freaking fungals, look, he's gonna be having a great time. But if he can't hit the fungals, he's freaking dead. Let's face facts here. If he can't hit the fungals, you're working against a massive army. Oh, can we get some splits out? Can we get some splits? So far, fungals are okay, but won't kill anything. So that's 2 wasted fungals, technically. Gumiho trying to move into an area. These are a lot of chokes, though, aren't they? It's a lot of chokes we have over here. This army now is being sent in forward. One Ravager is going to get sniped. I think you can actually continue fighting here with these 3 Marauders, 3 Marines, yeah. Five tanks as well on the map. 4 Liberators. Libs can be taken out, of course, by the Ravagers. At the same time, this is just a good setup. I can't believe that Gumiho is still in this game. It's 3-3 versus 2-2. I hadn't even realized that Dark never started his 3-3 upgrades. SCVs are going to be going down against this single Roach, but that is not what is important right now. It's this Lib trying to deal some damage as well. More tanks moving forward. Lurkers in the far back. Let's see what they can achieve over here. We have a huge stim coming in. Massive scan as well. Fungal's going to connect with these Marines. Dark doing better in this fight than I had expected, but don't let the supply trick you. A lot of that is in reinforcements right now. Gumiho forgetting to micro there for a little bit. It's just going to walk straight into those Lurkers. Wins the initial fight, but the Remax is where it's going to be at. Can he fight the Remax? It's going to be pure Hydras. 34 Hydralisks are on the way right now, and I don't think there is enough in the back here. Not enough tanks, not enough reinforcements to deal with that army. The Remax for Dark is what's going to take this game. But that initial fight went really quite well for Gumiho. GG gets called, and Dark up 1-0. And up next we have Gumiho opening up with a low ground SCV, building that depot, so perhaps trying to go back into those Reaper builds. Same time, Dark with a very fast pool. 16 was the timing on that pool. Gonna have to wait and see how useful that's going to be, as the second SCV does get routed towards the low ground. And that to me indicates some type of double Rex Reaper. Yeah, 100%. Now I have seen some builds with a low ground barracks on the new patch that aren't necessarily double Rex Reaper. In particular, I've seen a gas first build that goes into a double Cyclone opener that really needs to secure the low ground. A lovely little build. I think I saw Clem do that. Gonna have to wait and see what's going to be the follow-up here for Gumiho. I'm really quite curious. Roach Warren, well, there we go. Figure that one out fast. It's gonna be a little bit of a roach rush here for Dark. It's always cute, of course. Always cute to see these roach rushes. Now, to my understanding, which is, of course, as always limited, as this is not my matchup. This is not what I'm best at, the Terran versus Zerg. But to my understanding, talking with other Zergs, talking with other Terran players, is that the double Barracks Reaper is much safer versus everything than any other Terran build is. The scouting is relatively easy. The early game is relatively straightforward. You get a lot of units out quickly. You tend to just need to get a bunker in front of your barracks, and you should be kind of fine. So, gonna see if that is the case over here as well. Reaper scouts the fact that this wasn't a hatch first. Now goes in towards the main base, and does poke in, see the roach farm. That is all the information that Gumiho really needs at this point. Took a lot of damage on that Reaper, by the way, which is kind of silly, but he did do that. Nice. Grenade. Going to connect with a couple of these Reapers. Another grenade. Once again, just connecting with these Reapers. Now, these Reapers taking damage is not the end of the world, because the moment they get too low, they're just going to straight up morph into a Ravager. This is what usually happens. However, I don't think there's enough money for all these roaches to turn into Ravagers. So if you can damage all roaches a little bit, that's always going to be quite nice. We do have that bunker going down, concussive shells, a Marauder going up as well. Speed stars behind this. This is such good ramp guarding as well, coming out of Gumiho. Really understanding what needs to be done in these situations. As Dark is... I don't think Dark can achieve anything with this. It's just simple as that. I don't think Dark can achieve anything with this. This Marauder is going to rally straight into this bunker. Reaper's now coming in. One Reaper is gonna fall. That's kind of sloppy. That really was kind of sloppy. That should never happen. A Reaper for a Roach. A penny for a kiss. A dime if you tell me that you love me. But yeah, it's not a good trade. Well, a penny for your thought. If the thought is very good, that might actually be a good trade. Although most of the time, if someone were to pay me a penny for every thought that I had, that would be a relatively bad trade for them. Because I have a lot of thoughts that are fairly useless. Yeah, you need to pay a lot of pennies for my thoughts for you to get something worthwhile out of it. Reaper's now jumping downstairs. Yes, 2 of them will go down. 3 drones go down. I'm just thinking about this song. A penny for your thought, a nickel for a kiss, a dime if you tell me that you love me. Seems to me you're dating a prostitute. But what do I know? We have the... I thought that was a very good love song. Never really considered the actual lyrics of that. It is what it is. 2 base all in behind this, so I think this is quite common to see out of Terran plays. Gumiho is such a pragmatic guy, you know? He has a barracks, he knows there's an overlord there, takes out the overlord. There's loads of Terrans that wouldn't do this, but Gumiho really cares about not being scouted the entire time. This is a concept that he holds is very dear to his heart, you know? He loves that type of stuff. Not being scouted. Acting in the dark. That's what he likes the most. Yeah, it's gonna go for 2 base all in after a fantastic start, and this tends to work out well, because very often if Dark opens up with roaches and it fails, he'll either play a little bit greedy for a while, or we see him going for a follow-up all in. And here it's a follow-up all in, so really, this is gonna be a bit awkward, I think. This is actually gonna be a bit awkward. There's nothing else I can say about it. Tank needs to probably move slightly forward here, but like, you know, it needs to... Well, this seems like probably the weirdest position this tank could be in right now. And he just re-sieges it. Oh, it's because the second tank is coming out, right? Yeah, there we go. Beautiful Biles, making sure that these Marines and Marauders can't completely go into the choke. That was phenomenal play, but it simply won't matter as this push gets denied completely. Yeah, I love this decision-making here coming out of Gumiho. Has a Reaper on the other side of the map with probably pretending to have 1 kill. Doesn't really have one, though. 12 more drones on the way, but even with those 12 extra drones finishing, Gumiho is still going to be ahead in workers. Now gets the scan, sees the complete lack of drones, and more importantly, sees new drones coming in, so knows that the all-in doesn't continue here. That is huge news. That actually is pretty massive news. His combat shield didn't get taken out either, which is fantastic. You have these lings here just staring at the rocks and these mineral patches like, hey, can I do a run by here towards the bottom side? And the answer for now seems to be, meh, not really. Not really. Not really. 3rd base, not close to being done yet. A nice little depot wall. Rocks being taken out. More Ravagers and Lings on the way. Don't forget that this is all being done of pure hatchery tech here. So even if Dark holds, he's still all in. Like, Dark needs to fight, and whether that's going to be on Gumiho's side of the map or on his own side of the map, well, he'd rather fight on his own side of the map, but he's gonna need to fight. He's going to need a fantastic fight, and I'm not quite sure if that's going to be possible. Marines here are having an okay trade so far against these Lings. Both tanks will fall, but the Road Ravager count just isn't that large. Oh my god, that pickup was kind of sick. That pickup was kind of scary. +1 now halfway done as well. More tanks being rallied forward. And 2 more barracks coming in too. So this command center is going to fly over towards the 3rd base. See what's going to be capable of doing there. "24 Marines just kind of standing at that watchtower as the tank in the back. Gonna add a little bit of oomph to this push, and that's the only thing you really need. There's enough Ravagers to one-shot bile or one volley these tanks with biles. Almost feel like Gumiho should just wait a bit longer. I don't think Gumiho is planning on waiting a bit longer. And he's like, nah, yeah, I know I'm up 5 workers. I know my opponent's only on 3 base, but I don't care, Kevin. I'm gonna set up shop over here and win the game, okay? That's the plan. And honestly, I think he can. Like, don't get me wrong, I really do believe he can. He's tried desperately to phase shift through these mineral patches. That didn't quite work out for him. He's just gonna drop the 8 Marines on top of it. I think that is a very wise call. There's another Overlord over here that could be taken out. I really think that Gumiho is one of the only players that's just so keen on denying vision all the time. He's so aware of how annoying it is. Like some other people, I don't think they would have necessarily gone through the trouble of dropping there. But Gumiho, yeah, solid decision making. Now he's going to move 3 medevacs towards the far right side. Let's see what he's going to be capable of doing there. Can he go in towards the main here? There's 4 queens there. There's no fort base quite, by the way, for Dark, which is kind of sick. It's kind of wild indeed. This CC here, now fully mining. Dark is aware of that. Supplies 163 to 140. Tank count still only on 3. Well, it's 4 total, but there's 1 stuck in the natural right now. Medevacs tried to go in towards the main. This fort base is going to get cancelled the second it gets made. Don't know a lot, but that I do. These 2 tanks being in the exact same spot is kind of idiotic because they can get double wild because of that. That was really weird, but I don't think it matters whatsoever. Triple drop still heading in towards the main. GG gets called as Gumiho ties up the series after a solid defense versus the Road Rush. Game number 3 here is going to be played on side Delta. I did some research into the lyrics of the song A Penny for Your Thoughts by Tavares. Spelled like this. And apparently the song, well, the verses are about a man who isn't sure if his lady likes him as much as he likes her. People are talking that maybe she's just using him for whatever this person has. So that's why he wants to pay a penny for her thoughts. I think just a nickel for the kiss is a bit weird though. It feels odd to say something like that. And a dime if you tell me that you love me. That's not what love is. You can't pay for that, mate. Uninformed lads who made that song, that's for sure. Someone, however, who isn't uninformed is going to be Gumiho after taking that last big fat W in that game. So we're gonna see what he's playing this time around. Just straight up Reaper opener. So perhaps a more standard build. All Dark with the hatchery first. No road rushes inbound, most likely. Marine as a follow-up. All of that is pretty okay, pretty normal. I don't mind it at all. I think it's a good call. Do we have speed? No speed. Third base going to be taken soon. Love to see what the plans are going to be here for our good friend Dark. Opening up with the, I think this is called the Extended Clash opener. This is an opener made by Lambo and E-Laser. Somewhere in, I think this was 2019 or 2018. Somewhere around that time. Maybe 2020, I can't recall. It's been a while, okay? It's a very old opener. And it utilizes a 27 Overlord rather than what was the previous standard, which is a 20 Overlord. For a very long time, Koreans didn't like playing this, but nowadays they're very keen on that extended Clash opener. Maybe it's just a regular Clash opener. I never quite know the difference, but I think the extended Clash opener is better. So I'd reckon that that's what Dark uses. Usually not with 6 links, but of course Dark has his own little, he changes things up the way that he likes to every now and again. He continues spreading creep out here. Reaper going back home this early is kind of wild, as double Hellions are in production. We have a starport coming in as well, and a third CC. So it's just a really kind of standard triple CC build. We have some Marine production coming in. Please note that there is no tech lab on this barrack, so this doesn't smell to me like it is going to be any type of Banshee play. This could be a Viking or a Liberator, or perhaps it could be both. You could be anything you want, as long as you try hard. Gonna need to see what this tech lab's gonna be capable of doing. I think it's just for stim at some point in the future. Loving the way here that Gumiho is playing. Different build every single game. Now, side Delta, do we have any info on this map whatsoever? Do I like it? Do I hate it? What would I rate it? I guess you can have tanks here and you can shoot into this area. Is that even useful? I don't think it really is. Just looking for tank positions really, and they're not so easy for me to figure out. Because just like the one guy in the Wizard of Oz, I don't have a brain. 6 Hellions here. Ooh, it's going to be a Marauder attack as a follow-up. Now that is kind of cute. So this is going to be a Marauder Hellbat all in. I feel like Gumiho might have forgotten the armory here. It feels very freaking late. 36 seconds away from finishing. Medevac, I think, did get spotted there. It's gonna go in with 3 Marauders. Dude, he's gonna have a massive freaking army, isn't it? Oh, Viking here in a bit of trouble. He's gonna need to piss off at some point. I'm not quite sure why he's doing this. It seems highly idiotic. He's gonna take so much damage on that Viking. 10 more drones instantly in production. That's a lot of drones here that you're building, Dark. You're on 7 queens, which is a nice amount. The 3rd Marauder never made it here, I don't think. No, it's just it's walking across the map as the 3rd CC is gonna get planted. Can we get a morph into Hellbats? Yes, we can. That's 9 Hellbats over here. Viking with it, taking out Overlords from the back. Should be targeted down by the queens first. No, not quite happening. Overlord still in danger perhaps if this Viking returns, but the real issue here is going to be that there's no links at all. 7 roaches now on the way. That is a big deal. This Medevac is still extremely alive as well. As the next set of Hellbat shows up, Marauder that kind of finally walked across the map is also going to join in on the fun. Dark going to be in quite some trouble here as he's losing more and more queens. Has lost, well, all 7. Right now has 0 queens remaining, still fighting against 4 Marauders here at the front, a bunch of Hellbats as well. I don't really see a way for Dark to hold this 3rd base. I think this 3rd base is toast, and with that 3rd base being toast, I think Gumiho here is getting closer and closer to winning this game and thus winning this series. Drones coming in for a surround, Marauders getting picked up, 3rd base is gone right now. 87 supply to 89. Army supply is very close. Worker counts extremely close as well. So there's a bunch of units in the back not really helping out right now. What is in here? Just the 3 Marauders. That is good though. Saving those Marauders is going to be huge when later on a roach attack is going to end up happening. Concussive Shell still there as well. Dark coming in clean with a counterattack right now as he's double expanding at the same time. I just don't see a way for Dark to really win this game. We have 4 more barracks on the way on top of the already existing 3. Now, once again, not great at math, but that's gonna go up to 7. There's no stim yet on these Marauders and then, well, Hellbats can never get stim, so there's also no stim on those Hellbats, but that might make this type of attack a little more dangerous than it really should be in my mind. Production from barracks, perhaps not quite high enough. Marauders moving forward, no roach beat, makes it a bit easier to micro against. Good control on those Hellbats, loses 1 though to a bile. Perhaps not the greatest control. He's now trying his best to kite, as the V-Pool here has to help out against these forces. As a couple of roaches are gonna die, and I think this was probably good enough defensively right now for Gumiho that he doesn't need to pull the boys once more. Can just go back to mining, almost walks into that bile, but doesn't quite. +1 finished up. Stim right now, what is it, 15 seconds? 25 seconds away from finishing. It's Dark on 58 workers, adding in 2 more Evo chambers. Do we have tanks behind this? Yes, of course we do. There are tanks behind this. And it's just going to be pure Marine as well from here on out. Pure Marine, perhaps with an occasional Marauder sprinkled in from this single tech lab. Because there's 7 Marauders already. Here comes a Ling run by. Stim now finishes up. Could be used. Is not going to be used. 3 SCVs do go down. If Dark manages to come back into this game, he will be an actual magician. This is such a hard place to come back from. I don't even think it's going to be possible. Dark moving up this ramp's going to lose 3-4 links before even managing to turn around. 4 Marauder drop here. It's boosting in. And it's now boosting away. Very nice. Tank could siege up over here in the bushes. Big scan forward coming in as well. This Overlord's gonna get targeted down. Ooh, this is too many units for medevacs. This is way too many units for medevacs, and that means that these units might just end up dying. At the same time, it might also be too many units here for the Roaches and Ravagers that Dark had sent out. Overlord's gonna get taken out. Supply blocking Dark here. Dark now in a world of trouble as I just don't think he has the tools to defend. At the same time, 4 Marauders in the main base, taking out the Baneling nest. No combat shield on these Marines. This tank is unsieged. And that kind of shows how far Gumiho knows he's ahead. He's playing kind of lax right now. We'll lose that medevac with a tank. That is pretty sloppy. It honestly is. These 8 Marines are still bouncing around as well. The next wave, though, is going to be freaking hard to hold over here. 8 Marines will drop at this base. 6 drones have already gone down in the past minute or so. As these 4 Marauders now dropping in towards the natural. 2 Roaches will show up and an instant lift here for Gumiho, has just so many units coming across the map, and that is going to be a serious issue. Gumiho, once again, with the redrop, Roaches can't deal with this, Lynx can't deal with this, there's no anti-air here whatsoever, and another pickup, and another drop, and another pickup, and another drop. Queen's now going to finally move into position. This infestation pit has finished up. That means you can start a hive, but who wants to start a hive on 68 workers, barely mining from 3.5 bases here. These Marauders just continue dishing out a lot of damage. +2 finishes up as well. Medevac is not going to survive here. No, it is. It is going to survive with +2 infantry weapons as well. And this massive push, I think, is going to end Dark's life here. As I just don't see a way that he can hold. There's 58 Marines against 20 Roaches. Upgrades are better for the Terran as well. It is +2 versus 1-1. Tank sieging up pretty far away as the Marauders are still going crazy over here. GG gets called, and I think for the first time in a very long time, Gumiho takes out Dark. That is actually really quite surprising. I'm just gonna check real fast when the last time is that Gumiho took out Dark, because this feels like a huge upset. Oh my freaking god. Holy cow. Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen when it comes to this real fast. I didn't think it was gonna be this big of a deal. I honestly didn't. Look at this. So this is I guess the latest one, the Korean StarCraft League. And before that, it was, well, a crap ton of games all won by Dark here. They just play a lot as well because this is still in 2023. Look how many series they have against one another. But yeah, absolutely massive upset over here. That's the one thing that I do know for sure. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this series, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.